Hey guys, Duke Delaet here again for another episode of Pickup Daily. We're on the Pickup Daily Company Retreat, which basically means I drove to Vegas with these guys, and we're having a good time. We drank too much fucking whiskey last night, and they're hungover, but hey. I wanted to talk to you a bit today about the fear of social reprisal. You see, in our live training events, we go out and we take guys out into the field and get them to talk to women, and we start fixing their body language, vocal tonality, stuff like that, to give them the tools to be better at their social game and ultimately get the dates and whatever they want. And I see two things. The biggest things from a very beginner, there's two basic fears that go on. One, it's the fear of rejection or the fear of approaching, right? There's a bunch of stuff all tied up in there, but basically they won't move and go talk to somebody new because of something they got going on in their head. And the second one is the fear of social reprisal. It's the fear of getting judged by the people who are watching or listening. Dio did a video earlier on talking to girls with her friends, and the fear of social reprisal is the core fear of dealing with a girl with her friends and mixed sets and dealing with her in public places. So if you can handle that, then it sort of filters out. It's kind of a meta fix for a lot of different specific areas and problems the guys have in the game. There are a bunch of explanations for social reprisal. In Mystery's first book, he was talking about evolutionary psychology and how it affected tribal relationships. He said that we all grew up, evolutionarily speaking, in a tribe of, 80 to 100 something people, and then we only had access to a certain number of sexual or familial partners, right? So there's only so many girls that are of age in our range that aren't already married and stuff in a social tribe, right? It's not like the world now where you and I can walk down the strip in Vegas and see just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are in our mating range. It could be possible lovers. Back then, there was just not that many people, and the people that were over in the next tribe over may be your sworn enemies for generations and generations. So if you were to roll up to a girl and she flipped out and she didn't like you and she tried to get her friends to not like you anymore and got all dramatic the way the girls kind of do now, there's only, let's say you had a handful, 10 to 15 girls possible that you could hook up with. Maybe 4 or 5 of them were decently, reasonably attractive. And once you get yourself X'd out of that social circle, you're just going to have no opportunities. You just have to go back to your little teepee tent thing, jack off, and hope that you die in your next hunting expedition because you're never going to get laid for the rest of your life. Worse than that, if you were to roll up to a girl and she was already spoken for by somebody bigger, badder, stronger, or had more friends than you, then they would get all of their friends to come by and jump you, and then you'd be dead, bleeding out, hit you in the head with a rock, and you would be twitching and weird spinal injuries. And then at the end of the day, your attempt to impress and woo a new woman will have been foiled, and it will cost you your life. So in the evolutionary psych explanation of the thing, the fear of social reprisal has been kind of passed down because in the caveman days, if we were to hit on a girl and she didn't like us, if we were to get rejected, there were serious survival level consequences. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it's definitely something that's kind of hardwired into many guys' perceptions and beliefs on how the social frame works. In reality, there's very few times that you're going to get even a negative response from a girl, even if you go direct. But there's no survival level issues anymore. I mean, I've been talking to girls for 10 years over and over, nightclubs and bars and all this, and I think I've gotten challenged to a fight like twice, and it never amounted to anything because I'm not really a violent guy. So very few times in real life do you actually get a negative result from trying to talk to a girl. She might reject you, blow you out or whatever, but nobody's going to hit you in the face for trying to, or bash your head in with a rock or leave you dead outside for trying to make a connection. The interesting part is, even though the fear's not real, like it's not actually a threat nowadays in our more civilized society, it doesn't mean the fear went away, and a lot of guys still get paralyzed at that survival primal level. That is pretty normal, but it's also a phantom fear. I mean, there's no actual threat really these days. So it's something we try to get over in our live programs and in various different visualization and mental techniques that we use in our industry to deal with all of that stuff. So if you want to know more about that stuff, we got videos on getting over fear of approach, getting over fear of rejection. Check the channel, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell to get notifications because you don't want to miss anything, and it helps the channel out. I also got a silly little book I wrote called Kick Fear in the Dick. It's on Amazon. We got the link below. And speaking of books, Lendy Paiz, our social skills trainer extraordinaire and the guy who runs Social Q Nation, he just wrote a new book called ESM, The Emotional State of Mind. So the book tells you how to identify, clarify, and deal with your emotions in real time so you have better power over yourself, better power over social situations, and ultimately make your life and the lives of those around you much, much more awesome. I'm Duke Delaet. This is Pickup Daily. I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, stay awesome.